Start recording. Start the game. Okay, don't click on episode 2. Almost clicked on episode 2. 1, I mean. Almost clicked on episode 1. Should I load? Like, is there any... Oh, I mean, I might as well, since I saved there. Remember to read episode 1 tips. Wait. Oops. How do I do that? Do I just go... I suppose they're not here. Okay, I guess I go back to the title screen. But how do I do that? Do I go here? Tips? Episode 1 tips. The hell? Oh. Okay, that's the portrait epitaph. That's not new. Which is ladder. Which is game record. That's... I guess that's what appeared at the end. Yeah. This is new, I guess. Winchester. Oh, so... Hey, didn't we talk about this last time? Didn't we, like, talk about... We were wondering what weapon Natsuhi was using? I guess this is it. Winchester M1894. Do you say 1894? I have no idea how you like, pronounce gun names. Sawed-off. A sawed-off custom version of a rifle manufactured during the golden age of Winchesters. I suppose that's the year then. This special model more than makes up for its shorter lethal range by its portability and old-time cool factor. It can even be fired as quickly as a pistol if one works the lever action skillfully enough. Furthermore, any true lover of old Western dramas can't help but be attracted to the one-handed reload made possible by its characteristic lever handle. To match with Kinzo's personal preferences, it was made to handle .45 long cold bullets. It holds 4+1 rounds. And the 7 stakes of purgatory. Stakes containing the 7 magics that represent the 7 deadly sins. In accordance with their user's order, they bury themselves into the desired location of the desired target with perfect accuracy. Because they flit about at ultra-high speeds and change their trajectories at will by bouncing off walls and the like, they have no blind spots and will hit their targets without fail no matter what form of cover they might be hiding behind. Furthermore, it is possible to change the force they hit with depending on the part of the body at which they strike. They are extremely powerful weapons, but they cannot target pure people who have not committed one of the 7 deadly sins or people who have a strong resistance to magical power. Interesting. Anything here? I mean, I could spend some time executing Goda again and again, but that won't really help us. I think this was also written... What was written here was there last time as well, I think. I don't think I missed anything else. If I did, let me know. And now let's go here. Poor Goda. This story is very obviously fictional. Yeah. Yeah, this should be Shannon, because, I mean, if you look at the system, the tips, you can see... oh, that's here again. Okay. You can see these two. Wow, look at him, how fly he is. Ooh. Ifan Hideyoshi's son, an affable young man like ever, and the family's currently studying his end. I think that's the same as last time? Yeah. I guess so. I was about to click on execute, but it's not here. Wait, a t-shirt that says Tomitake. Why does it say that? Servant Shannon, a young but experienced servant. She's normally calm and performs her job efficiently, but she messes up when she gets nervous. Furthermore, Shannon is nothing more than a pseudonym that she uses when on duty, not her real name. Was that Sayo or something? I already forgot, but ooh, look at her. Look at her attire here. Like, she has like some kind of hat, and they're like those are ribbons or something, and they go down to her waist. Is Tomitake something from Higurashi? Yeah, I mean, it's been years that I saw the anime, and I didn't even see all of it, but I have the game now on Switch, so I'm gonna play it there. Sayo, yeah, I think it was Sayo. George-sama, please look. They're so cute. Look. Shannon found a pair of hammerhead sharks swimming playfully in the tank, and looked as excited as a grade schooler seeing an aquarium for the first time. Yeah, they are really cute. Almost makes me want to eat them. What? I'd feel so sorry for them. Did you know? I hear the Japanese are the only people in the world who go to aquariums and say how delicious everything looks. Is that true? I wouldn't say that's... I could see other countries that have a lot of fish in their meals would perhaps react similarly. But I mean, I can see Japanese people say that, definitely. Is that so? I'm sure even Americans and Italians would want to eat these. Those clothes look good on you. Really? Oh, he's going in for the kill. Shannon clutched at her chest with both hands in embarrassment. She apparently felt like she was being made fun of for wearing these clothes she wasn't used to. Though George's face didn't show it, he'd actually said something so completely unexpected that it surprised even him, and he was as embarrassed as Shannon on the inside. Don't go for the kill if you can't handle it. However, when he saw how embarrassed Shannon was, he started to imagine he was teasing a girl he liked. And instead of embarrassment, a ticklish amusement welled up in him. No, he wasn't just imagining it. He really was teasing the girl he liked. I was about to say, before now, he wouldn't have expected to hear a line like that anywhere these days, not even in manga or something. In fact, if he'd seen another couple acting like this, his first instinct would be to start throwing rocks at them. But even if someone were to start throwing rocks at us now, I'm sure they'd be no different from confetti celebrating our relationship. Now, I can't even remember those lonely days when I felt jealous of couples who were completely oblivious to their surroundings. To use an old-fashioned phrase, these really are rose-colored days I'm living in. Yeah, they were not so rose-colored last week, or the week before. I'm so entranced that I barely noticed that massive tank in the world's largest aquarium anymore. I'm just looking at two other massive things. Sorry. Instead, all I see are the expressions flitting across Shannon's face as she plays with the fish. It's amazing, isn't it? It's my first time seeing a tank large enough for a whale to swim in. I heard this tank is the biggest selling point here, and that it's the biggest in the whole world. Is that so? It's amazing. It's really wonderful. Doesn't even look like a tank at all. More like they sliced off a part of the sea with a knife and brought it here. You're right. This really is a little sea. Despite its size, I hadn't thought of the tank as anything more than a tank. That's why I found her metaphor so interesting. See? What do you mean, see? No matter how far humans broaden their experiences, they always end up viewing the world through the lens of their own values. A little... Aww. What? I'm just gonna take a sip of my tea and stare at you angrily for that. Maybe that's why it's so interesting to interact with people. Wait, where was I? No matter how far humans broaden their experiences, they always end up viewing the world through the lens of their own values. Maybe that's why it's so interesting to interact with people who have different worldviews. It is. That's definitely true. I mean, when I was in Japan, that was definitely also a huge interesting thing. Not just with Japanese people, but there were like people from all over the country studying abroad there as well, just as me, like Chinese, Korean, American, French, Spanish, and so on. And they all had their own, like, viewpoints of what was normal and was not, and so on and so forth. So having like drinking nights together was always very interesting when you were just talking about whatever came to your mind in these kind of mixed groups. Anyway, I voiced my thoughts on this. She responded. True, this may not be the real sea, but if those little guys swimming in there believe it's the sea, then that's what it is. Huh. Even though they're inside a finite tank, the sea is finite too, yeah. Doesn't feel like it though. Then again, even if the sea were infinite, how much could we cover in our whole lives? I'm sure it'd be only a minuscule fraction of the sea. You're right. It's ironic, isn't it? Even though the world is so vast, most of us humans live our lives without ever leaving our own country. If the inhabitants of a place believe they're living in a complete world, then even the bottom of a narrow well can be a wonderful world, an entire ocean. At least to the frogs that live there. Or was that Shannon again? I don't know. Shannon, who spent her days as a servant on a small island 10 kilometers in circumference called Rokkanjima, said that with a smile. Okay, that was Shannon. Sorry for the George voice. It's hard sometimes when you don't see the characters. Oh, and there goes the calm atmosphere out of the window. With music like that. Turn of the Golden Witch. Oh, it's another intro, I guess. Finite. Unlike infinite. Oh, okay. I think now that you mention it, I remember it, but when I was reading it, just subconsciously, I may turn it into finite because of infinite. But you're right, I do remember it now, but thanks, definitely. I absolutely appreciate being corrected on any kind of pronunciation, especially since this game uses a lot more elaborate vocabulary. And even if it didn't, I mean, no matter how good or bad you are, there will always be some words that you mispronounce. Yeah, I know the PS3 patch has a lot of good things, but, you know, can't do that. Oh, that music again. Been a while that we heard that. But for what it's worth, I do enjoy this original version as well, with the photo backgrounds and everything. After we finished walking through the whole aquarium, we had a small late afternoon lunch at a restaurant with a nice view. The word buffet has the power to make any boy's heart leap. I was like that myself once, but with Shannon beside me, this buffet felt different. I couldn't shamefully pile on only the things I liked. I was, how should I put it, worried about my appearance and choosing menus suited for a snob. Why do you have to paint yourself a snob? I mean, is that what you want to be seen as in her eyes? Toast, salad, and how is that even a snob menu? That is like, that sounds like a poor student menu to me. If I'd been by myself, I would have made a pile of oily stuff like yakisoba, mashed potatoes, gratin? Is that the same pronunciation in English, gratin? And so on. Shannon, it's not going to be enough for you. If it is, then I guess women are animals with really bad fuel efficiency. That's not what I... On Shannon's tray there was only tea and salad. What? Why are you even going to a buffet if you're just behaving like idiots there? Like, she's probably not gonna eat much because she's embarrassed to stuff her face like an idiot in front of him, and he only eats like some small, allegedly snobby stuff to appear like, I don't know, whatever he wants to appear like in front of her. Just be yourself. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna eat almost close to nothing and only toast and salad, you might as well have not gone to a buffet. Maybe the mere fact that I thought she was a whole plate short proved I was thinking with a man's stomach. Actually, I should be asking you the same thing. Don't you think men should eat a little more than that? I imagine you normally eat much more for lunch, right? Right, Tang. Come to think of it, you already know how much I eat normally because of meals I've had at the head family household. You idiot. That's right. So I was worried you might have an upset stomach today. Shannon was kind enough to guess that I wasn't feeling well. It looks like my stupid attempt to show off made her worry, and apparently my stomach wasn't going to let me show off any longer. Okay, I'll confess. I was just trying to look cool. I held back just because I was with a girl. At least they're talking about it now, that's good. I thought so. Considering how much you eat during lunch at the family conferences, I thought this was nearly enough. Please don't be so reserved, and feel free to go choose another dish. It's not fair for only me to be embarrassed. What about you, Shannon? How will you be able to keep up with the Shidomiya family workload on such a sparse diet? Shannon fell silent and blushed bright red. Apparently I wasn't the only one showing off. When I realized that, my embarrassment disappeared completely. Oh, so that's not enough for you either, is it? Yeah, I usually eat a bit more than this for lunch. A woman's stomach is made of mud. I think that's scientifically debatable, but sure, go ahead and say that. This is enough. So we've both been showing off to each other. Let's not hold back anymore, shall we? I smiled to show that I wouldn't make fun of her anymore and rose from my seat. After finally coming to Okinawa, it'd be a waste if we didn't eat some bitter melon. Bitter melon? Is that like a special dish in Okinawa? I lived in Japan for over a year, but I have never been to Okinawa, so no idea. Then you order a big shark from the aquarium and ate it. I would, I mean, I would love to see that. But maybe, oh yeah, that might creep even Shannon out. I don't know if they're close enough for whole shark on the menu. Goya. Oh, okay. I'll go get some fried bitter melon. I'll go get some fried bitter melon or something. It's fried bitter melon. That doesn't even sound tasty in the at all. But maybe I should go and try it someday. Maybe I'll change my mind. Shannon, come with me. Come on, come on. Yes. To anyone watching us, we might seem like an incredibly charming and embarrassing couple. I'm glad it's not called Goda. But it's it's only after becoming a couple that you realize. To us, this exchange of words is everything, our entire world. That's why no matter how much everyone else stares at us with blank expressions, we never notice. Indeed, at this age I finally understand the feelings of couples who want to endlessly flirt without any regard for their surroundings. After I returned with a plate piled up with fried food, Shannon arrived with a pretty cake. Oh yeah. While laughing at her fake stoicism, we resumed our lunch. Even though it's a restaurant with a view of the sea, it's so cloudy. Don't know who said that, so I'm just gonna read it with my voice. Luckily, our window seats gave us a view of seaside scenery so grandiose that it extended even beyond our field of vision. However, because of the cloudy sky, we were only seeing a fraction of its usual beauty. That's right, if it were clear, we'd undoubtedly see a deep blue sea. Yep, I'll bet you... Oh, okay, so that was Shannon. That's right, if we're clear, we'll only see a deep blue sea. Yep, I'll bet you're already used to the sea around Lokinjima. But the deep blue of the sea here would surely have been a sight to see. It's a real shame. Oh, but no matter how blue the sea is at work, it might as well be grey to me. But I'm not working today, so Apparently Shannon was doing her best to say an embarrassing line, but I didn't let her get off easy. So close, if only you'd say when watching the sea alone with you, George Summer, it looks deep blue no matter how grey it is. Ooh, I'd have given you full marks and a prize. I'm sorry. Wanna hear what the prize was? If you don't mind telling me. No, I won't tell you. That's not fair. That's no fair. When I was in elementary school, I was always the kid who got bullied. When everyone teased me, I grew nervous and speechless to the delight of the bullies. Back then, I wondered why everyone teased me. But now, teasing Shannon like this, I understand why. This is so much fun. Yeah, but you're not really doing it in a mean-spirited way. I would... I would say there's a difference. I comply with her emotions however I please, and I can have them all to myself. Right now, I can't think of any greater pleasure. Okay, now you are starting to sound a bit mean. That's why I have to go easy on her. It's not as though I want to make her feel embarrassed and upset, so I decided to be nice and change the subject. Best not to be too obstinate. When you've finished your lunch, do you want to take a walk on the beach? Maybe the clouds will clear up and we'll get a beautiful view of the sea. That's right. I want to go see it. Yeah, let's do it. But that cake really does look delicious. Maybe I'll go get one of those too. You mustn't. If you eat cake after eating so much, you'll get fat. It looks like Hideyoshi-sama's blood is pretty thick in you, George-sama, so you'll get chubby if you don't take care. Ooh, damn. Shannon, you won't stop liking me if I get fat, will you? After all, I wouldn't stop liking you if you got fat. I didn't mean it that way. If you don't take good care of your body, it'll be bad for your health. Oh. What is that ow all the time? Just oh, okay. Why? Mother warns me all the time too. I wonder if I'll have to take up Tai Chi Quan. Well, I have no idea how you pronounce that. Or something like she does and get some exercise. When going on a diet, it's better to start by rethinking your eating habits rather than just exercising all the time. That is true. Like a whimper, okay. Apparently the exercise only helps if you're eating well first. In other words, you're telling me to hold off on the cake, huh? Then I guess I'll just have to gaze at you while you stuff your cheeks with it, Shannon. Man, he's going for some interesting lines here. A whole cake is probably too much, but maybe just half of one would be okay. Here, it's really delicious. Shannon cut her own cake and tried to move half to my dessert plate. I had no doubt that she wanted to share the delicious cake's flavor with me. However, I meanly pulled my plate away from her. She blinked in surprise. She couldn't seem to figure out if I was refusing the cake or not, so I winked, opened my mouth, and said, "Ah." So that's what you really wanted. Jeez, you're such a pampered child, George Summer. Oh dear, that isn't a... You know her face is up there, not... Well, okay. Say ah. With a partly embarrassed, partly exasperated face, Shannon offered the cake to me with a fork. It tasted like a cheap chocolate cake you might find anywhere. What about... Oh, I missed the chance to see the original spites there. Oh, no, damn it. Yet it was exceptional, because eating cake in such an embarrassing way, as if we were a couple of perfect fools, had been my dream for many years. It made this cake's flavor heavenly. If the earth is destined to end, I wouldn't have any regrets if it happened right now. It was such a moment of bliss. I'll just do it with the next boob zoom. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. After that we gathered shells, ran from waves, and enjoyed each other's company while walking along the beach. Ran from waves. I mean, I know what you mean, but it kind of sounds funny to me. In the end, the clouds never parted. However, we both believed that the sea reflected in our eyes was a deep blue. I mean... Somehow I'm so happy that it scares me. Oh, okay. Boob zoom. You do sigh that from time to time. What is it you're afraid of? Kinzo, probably. A servant of the Yoshiromiya family. For someone like me to be walking like this with a member of the family. It just felt like it was too much for me. I'm also surprised. I didn't just meet you yesterday or today, Shannon-chan. We've known each other for years now. However, we can only meet during those family meetings that only happen a few times a year. Back then, I couldn't even imagine having the sort of relationship where I could spend time with you like this. It was the same for you too, right? Huh? I did imagine it. No, I mean, maybe I should call it a kind of daydream. I did think about what it'd be like being in a relationship with you, a boy who was always so gentlemanly and considerate. Though it was only ever a fantastic daydream. Not anymore. Then we must have you believing hard to thank for our relationship. Magic dwells in the power of love. So I'm sure that magic brought us together. You're right. I really do think it was magic. But you know, that's not actually true. As you kept looking more and more beautiful every year, you became a larger and larger presence in my mind too. If the same thing happened to you, then the fact that we're here today is simply an inevitable consequence, rather than something caused by magic or a miracle. No, a miracle did happen, George Summer. She stopped walking down the beach, gazing out beyond the sea. A miracle? No, it was magic. It happened. I was bewildered by that slightly mysterious phrase, which I sometimes heard her use. Magic, you say? Yes, magic. I doubt you'd believe me if I explained, so I won't. Aw. But this bit of magic definitely had the power to grant the miracle that brought us together. Are you talking about some kind of ritual? Yeah. You might call it something like that. Except that it really was magic, not just some ritual. Huh? Maybe it's all girls, not just Shannon, who tend to treat encounters as miracles or coincidences. For a man like me, an encounter with a girl is 70% hard work to try and make her like you, 20% courage, and 10% coincidence. The part that means everything to her is a much smaller factor in my mind. Maybe that way of thinking itself is calculating and typical of men. But if I said that out loud, it might dissolve all kinds of magic. To my mind, there were lots of coincidences, compromises, and expended effort on both sides before we gained the relationship we have today. At the culmination of all that, we get to spend this joyful time together. And if she wants to call that magic, I've got no objections to her choice of words. So I'll stand up for that magic. You're right. If the same fate were repeated 100 times, maybe you and I could get into a relationship like this only one of those times. In the other instances, even though we'd be aware of each other, maybe we would have only maintained a reserved relationship after all this time. From the perspective of those other me's and you's, you and I are undoubtedly in a miraculous relationship right now. It's not what I meant. It really was magic. Literally. I sacrificed 10 goats. No matter how often you tell men something like this, they'll never believe it. Kanon-kun didn't believe me at all either. I believe you. I'd hate for the magic to fade away because I didn't believe in it, like somebody else here. George-sama. In a small voice, I apologized for saying something that trivialized her magic. Shannon seemed to be glad to hear me say that. What the other man didn't believe me. After all, if two people believe in the magic of love, it becomes eternal. That's why they had to die. Oh, that's right. I was wondering if you'd be willing to agree to a little whim of mine. Yes? Now you sound like Himiko now. It's magic. In Danganronpa 3, V3. I was wondering if you'd be willing to agree to a little whim. Well, yes, what is it? You call me George-sama, right? It's not that I dislike it, but would you consider not calling me that anymore? Of course you have to keep up your appearance with the Yoshiromiya family, so I wouldn't force you to do so during your everyday routine on Rokkenjima. But when we're alone, I'd rather you didn't call me that. Yeah, let's make that a rule. Oh, is that when they made it a rule? A rule? What would happen if I violated that rule? Oh, like how his glasses are not transparent anymore. Maybe we should have some kind of punishment game if you break the rule. Yes, what should it be? Wanna hear? No, I don't want to hear. I'll have to think about what it should be. Okay. Bondage. George, son. Yeah, let's just start. I love the way that sounds. I'm so happy. Son. I also have another name. It's Sayo. Ha, we were right. I see. The rule's gotta be fair after all. I'll follow it too, and from now on I'll call you Sayo. Okay. Sayo? Yes. I held her shoulder and drew her close. When I forcefully pulled her delicate body towards me, she dove into my chest like a doll. As I held her head in my arms, we both looked at the horizon. What a deep blue sea. I'm so happy we got to look at this, the sea, just the two of us. Me too. I'm so glad to have a chance to look at the deep blue sea with you. As we gazed at the grey sea and a light rain began to sprinkle down, we kept listening to each other's heartbeats. The sound of waves flows into my ears. No, it's the sound of an enraged sea. My body, bathed in painfully cold splashes, does not allow me to forget. It won't let me forget the memories of the day my old fate was broken and smashed. Once, tomorrows were literally like looking into a mirror. All I ever saw there was the person I already was. Tomorrow was absolutely no different from today. That was my old fate. But then, for the first time, I saw a different fate beyond the mirror. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite out of the fruit of knowledge. She torments me, saying I'll be furniture as long as I stay in God's paradise. So I decided to choose the path of knowing love and try to become a person. Those days were like sweet honey, but at the time I didn't realize that they'd be the start of a new kind of suffering. Is this Shannon, I guess? I have arrived at a small island on a motorboat I've only just learned how to use. Now, this can hardly be called a small island. It's little more than a rock jutting out of the water. On this rock is a torii and a small shrine. It was probably built to worship the guardian deity of Rokkenjima. Even though I don't know exactly what it signifies, I know it has to be something holy. Even in a place like this, I've got to take just one more look around to see if there's anyone who might get mad at me for coming. I see nothing but the stormy ocean, Niijima looming in the distance, and the waves breaking against Rokkenjima's steep cliffside. I ready myself, timidly approach the small shrine, and take the mirror that lies there as an offering. The mirror looks old, cloudy and dirty. That would probably make any normal mirror seem horribly cheap. However, since the mirror's been placed in this small shrine, its appearance seems to give some sort of divine quality to it. And there's one thing I can tell. This is no simple mirror. It may seem like an old, battered mirror to a non-believer like myself, but it has a great significance. Is it really okay to break this? After being captivated by honeyed words? What? Wait, what? You're gonna break the mirror? No, this isn't really a mirror. This is the life I couldn't escape until today. My fate. I'll break it. I'll smash it. And seize the life that lies beyond this mirror. If I don't smash it, my life will be a pair of facing mirrors forever. My life will be a pair of facing mirrors forever? Weird. Nothing will ever change in the slightest. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite of the fruit of knowledge. Or maybe I've already tasted of that fruit. After all, I have already experienced those maddening emotions. Just as Adam and Eve felt compelled to pluck their fig leaves, I can no longer go on without breaking this mirror. I've struggled with conflicting emotions for many days before this moment. Inside my heart, the virtuous part of me kept on fighting the part that sides with the witch. And now, here I am. Did the part of me that's here right now win or lose? There's only one thing I know. To obtain something, you must be ready to lose something. Cowards who don't risk anything, who never try to change anything, will never be given the key that opens the path to a new future. That key is already in my hands, and that key is to break this, to smash it. Is there any other effort I can make as furniture imprisoned in Rokkenjima? No, this is the only way for me. Come, have courage. I'll free myself from being mere furniture, and by accepting a new kind of suffering, I'll become human. This is surely a small, yet large trial I must impose on myself. Come on, smash it. I'll smash to pieces the eternally unchanging fate that imprisons me. I raise the mirror high. I think back on the days of conflict that came before, and finishing my reflection in the blink of an eye, I throw it down. So that's what that was about in episode 1. Still have no idea what the hell any of this means, but you remember in episode 1, I think, was it Kumasawa or somebody mentioned that there was like something with the shrine? And thunder. The thunder roars, crying out against me for my outrageous act. It truly is the hatred of angels trying to banish me from eternal paradise. I look down at the mirror, tumbling at my feet, broken in 2 equal parts. And after making sure I've accomplished my task, I scream up at the raging skies. I've kept my promise. Now, it's your turn to keep yours, right? Thunder roars once more. I've already been banished from paradise, so I'll have to struggle on my own if I want to live. The witch told me that is the single element of this world. To lose it means losing the world. Like how a canteen with a hole in the bottom can't be filled, no matter how much water you pump into it. I've kept my promise. Now it's your turn to keep yours. Please grant my wish. Beatrice-sama! Oh. And another intro. Why did it say when they cry 3? I mean, this is episode 2. Oh, there's the old sprites again. Just for Christian. Okay, I see. Oh, there's the magic circles, by the way. I think this is the same intro as in episode 1. But of course, back then I didn't notice the magic circles, because I didn't know them yet. The old sprites when I cry. Welcome back to Rock and Jima.